Hey everybody, it's me, Zach. This is Judy, and welcome back to our channel. Hey everybody, hi, hello, it's me, Zachary Michael. How are y'all doing? How is it going? What's good? Are y'all excited about the holidays coming up? I mean, we're like, Christmas, if y'all celebrate, is like literally this week. It's literally this week. Where has time gone? I don't know. That's not the point of today's video. The point of today's video is that it's time for another episode of TLC's critically acclaimed, highest form of art television show, The 1,000-Pound Sisters, starring none other than Amy and Tammy Slayton. Yes, we're back again for another episode, and honestly, I loved this week's episode. I think there were so many good moments this week. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was entertaining. I think there's a lot to talk about. And this week we just get to jump into it because I'm not sponsored this week like I have been the past couple of weeks. So honestly, truly, let's just get to. Now, if you don't remember where last week left off, we ended last week's episode with the Tammy and Tease fight. Y'all remember that? Tammy wouldn't walk. Tease was like, listen, I'm gonna hurt my back trying to push you. And there was a good point. I wish I had the commenter ready to go. I wish I had the screenshot ready to go. But there was somebody who commented and saying like, yes, Tease signed up to push you around, Tammy, but like, she didn't sign up to always push you around. It was like to push you when you were needed, right? Like to push you in the wheelchair when absolutely necessary. And I think that that's a good point. I think that's a good point. And I think, honestly, Tease was doing what her job entailed. And I feel like Tammy just really truly didn't want to do it. I mean, we'll get into it because they do talk about it, and that's where this episode starts off. But it's like, clearly Dr. Smith, and this is also shared in the episode too, clearly Dr. Smith wanted her up and walking. Like, clearly she's able to walk to some extent, and it's clear that she's just like not doing that, looking for excuses. At least to me, it seems like she's looking for some excuses for why she can or can't walk. But this episode does start off with Tammy and Mama Slayton, who honestly, this episode I think has really redeemed herself a lot. She seemed a lot more mother-like. I feel like she just needed to take a break after season 1. That's why we didn't see her at all in season 2. And now she's back, and like, I feel like she is trying to be more motherly. Like season 1, y'all know, I shared my thoughts. I did not feel like she was being very helpful to Amy or Tammy. I don't think she's being very encouraging. I don't think she's being very positive. I wasn't a huge Mama Slayton fan, okay? Truly. And I feel like, you know, she came across much better in this episode, which, as a reminder, it's all reality TV, and even if you don't like Mama Slayton or you do like Mama Slayton, like, at the end of the day, when these cameras turn off, when TLC leaves, like, this woman is still Amy and Tammy's mom, so just keep that in mind. Like, they're gonna have complicated relationships with their mom, I'm sure, but that also doesn't mean that they don't, like, love and care for her, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all haven't ever had a disagreement with your parents? You know? Anyways, besides the point, Mama Slayton came across real well in this episode, I thought, at least. It truly was a Christmas miracle that we got her back on the screen. It really was. But the reason I think she came across better is that even at the beginning of this episode, Darlene was like, had a whole little confessional moment on screen where she talked about how she does take some accountability for the way that Amy and Tammy grew up, and about how she didn't really have the means to teach them how to eat healthy. And that's just like also how she grew up. Like, she grew up not eating healthy. And so I do appreciate that she took some accountability for that. Not that she has to sit here and like have that weigh on her for the rest of her life, but like some acknowledgement that she is a part of the reason that Tammy and Amy are in the situation that they are today. Tammy also says that she explains to her mom that she shut down with Tisa because she basically was just like, listen, I knew I didn't have anything nice to say, so I didn't say anything. Which I think is very self-aware. She basically just didn't want to hurt Tisa's feelings in the moment. I do think we've seen Tammy do this so often where she just shuts down to avoid a fight or avoid saying something mean. But, like, she doesn't always exercise that self-awareness, right? Because, like, even in this episode, we'll get to it, like, she was shitty to the therapist who she literally had just met. So it's just, like, interesting that sometimes she can use that self-awareness to be like, let me shut down and not participate further. And other times, like, she doesn't have that level of self-awareness. But Tease does come over, and this whole situation of Tease meeting Mama Slayton for the first time ever, just, it all slayed me. Even from the moment when Tease's like, how are you doing, Mama Slayton? And Mama Slayton says,
honey, I'm blessed.
Like, oh, I'm blessed. I'm just blessed. Like, I don't know, for some reason, the way that Mama Slayton responded to that slayed me. I was slayed. But then, I don't know if it's because Tease's like a healthcare professional or what, but Mama Slayton feels the need to tell this story about how she used to work in like a doctor's office or something, testing for STIs. I'll let her tell the story.
I used to be a nurse. I worked in the pelvic room, and we had to get the test tubes, see if they had gonorrhea or something like that.
Oh, you got a tough job.
And no, it wasn't bad until this girl come in and had this funny smell, and I turned around and looked at the doctor, and he pulled a $20 bill out of that girl, her pelvic area.
Coochie?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? We got Mama Slayton on here talking about a $20 bill and a woman's hoo-ha. like, we're really, this is television. This is why they need an Emmy. Somebody get these TLC producers their Emmy. Because, like, where did that come from? Who would have guessed that in season 3 of 1,000 Pound Sisters, after she took an entire season off, we get Mama Slayton over here talk about how she was testing for STIs and a woman had a $20 bill in her coochie. And Tease's response to this all was also funny.
Have you ever? She never did tell me why she had it in her coochie.
But wow, Darlene really captured my heart. Like, all you had to do is tell me a story about coochies, and I guess we're good. Have I said that word enough? I find myself saying these words so often, and just like being like, this is my life. I'm sitting here making a video talking about coochie. So basically, Tease comes over interested in getting an apology. I don't know. They do claim that Tammy made some kind of an apology, and I guess she kind of did. I mean, at a minimum, like, they definitely talk things out, work things out. I don't know if I specifically remember hearing the words "I'm sorry," but maybe I just missed that. I don't know. It's possible I just missed it. You'll let me know in the comments, I'm sure. But Tease does point out that, she's pushing Tammy because she knows that Tammy can do it and that she needs Tammy to meet her goals so that she can get the weight loss surgery, because allegedly, conspiracy, whoever, whatever, that's what we're doing here. You know what I'm saying? Like, allegedly, the goal here is for Tammy to get weight loss surgery, and also allegedly, Tammy says she'll do whatever it takes to get it. Because she does talk about that a little bit in this scene in regards to, like, going to therapy, trying therapy out, because Dr. Smith asked her to do that. So she says she'll do all of that, but allegedly the I'll do whatever it takes doesn't include walking daily. With all of that being said, the way that they end up basically working it out is that Tammy does acknowledge, like, hey, I didn't want to let you know I was in pain and that's why I couldn't walk. Like, I don't want people to think I'm weak or that I can't do it or I can't whoever, whatever. Which is, like, fine. I get the idea of, like, not wanting to let people know, but also, like, one, this is your nurse. She's supposed to be here to help you. She's exactly the person that you would want to tell if you're experiencing pain. And two, for me, it just, like, comes across as, like, convenient, because she still got up and did the walking, Like, so, like, how much pain were you really in? I don't know. I don't want to be somebody over here, like, I think one thing that especially, like, disabled people experience is people questioning whether or not they are actually experiencing pain and things like that. So I don't want to do that, but I feel like it's, like, difficult with Tammy because she isn't honest with people. She doesn't tell them how she's really feeling. And so, like, what is Tease supposed to go off of, right? Which I think is kind of what Tease tells her. Like, listen, I can't know what's going on in here if you don't tell me what's going on in here, right? And so I think that Tammy makes it difficult for people to know what's going on when she just like won't tell them what she needs. And that is frustrating. And then I think it's also because she knows that sometimes if she says what she needs, like she's not going to get it, because what she needs and what she wants are two different things. And I think she usually is like, this is what I want, and it's not really what she needs. I don't know. I kind of talked in a circle there, but are we on the same page? And Tisa definitely is good at what she does, because she's like, listen, I feel really bad that I didn't know what was going on at the time, and I want you to feel comfortable telling me those things. But then cuts to a confessional where she's like, listen, I will listen to what she has to say, but she also has to know that she can't just use this as an excuse all the time. And I think that that's the point, okay? Because there are medical professionals like Dr. Smith who say you should be able to walk 75 steps a day. You should be able to do that. I want you to do that. And she, like, doesn't want to try that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that there's some level of balance of, like, yes, I'm sure Tammy is experiencing some pain because she doesn't utilize these muscles often. And also, like, you just need to do it. You just need to do what you got to do. And then at the end of this scene, they do wrap it up with, like, Darlene talking about, and listen, calling her Darlene and not just Mama Slayton. She got me. She got me this episode. But Darlene talks about how she doesn't want, you know, to have to bury Tammy, and she couldn't imagine having to bury a child. And I'm sure that would be difficult. And so, you know, I hope things actually do really get better. So then we cut to a little moment with Amy and Michael, and it starts us off with this week's little bit shot of the week.
We're working with Tammy. I need this time for my family.
Oh my God, they were really, they just had her looking so cute. They were blowing bubbles, and there was just a little shot of, like, the bubbles floating all over her. It was so cute. But then, you know, shady ass TLC had to cut to a shot where Lil Bit was in the background doing her business.
He's an overachiever, ain't you?
TLC, you shady bastards, give her some privacy. You did her dirty, TLC, and I don't know if I can forgive you for that. But they do have a little conversation, and by they, I mean Amy and Michael. They talk a little bit about, you know, not wanting Gage to grow up and have the same, like, weight problems that they have, and she says that she worries that he eats too much, which I don't know. For me, I don't know how much babies are supposed to eat, so I would say, like, I don't know, go talk to your pediatrician, figure that stuff out, because I don't know shit about that. I'm never having children. But she also talks to Michael about how she's worried about excess skin. She says that it's, like, a little bit more difficult to move around because it's, like, painful, and she also doesn't feel, like, as sexy and confident as she would like to because of some of it, which, like, I honestly truly do think is, like, legitimate. I'm a big proponent of just, like, do whatever you want to your body that you feel like is gonna make you feel great about yourself. And she gives us, like, long lists of places where she wants to get excess skin removed, and then she has this to say about her margaritatas.
And then maybe, like, fix my boobs a little bit, because I ain't no grandma yet. I want turkey. A floppy grilled.
Do you all like Kim Petras? I'm obsessed with the My Coconut song. You should go listen to it. But either way, when she was talking about wanting this excess skin surgery, like, I feel like anytime I've ever seen it on a show like this, like My 600-Pound Life or whatever, they only ever get to that part where they have, like, extreme amounts of excess skin. So I was kind of like, I feel like it's a little too early for you, Amy, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Then we get to probably what, in my opinion, was the most frustrating part of the show, and that was Tammy going to the therapist. It just was all the way around a very frustrating experience, like, super frustrating. So it starts with Misty getting her turn to push Tammy around. So bravo, Misty, welcome to the club. And by the club, I mean, I can't really welcome you to it because I'm not in it. I've never pushed Tammy, but, like, welcome to the club with Michael and Chris. Like, you did it. You're here. Oh, and Tisa. I can't believe I forgot Tisa. They push her into the room with the therapist, and there's a big couch, and then there's obviously wherever the therapist is sitting. And then I'm guessing there's also, like, you know, a whole film crew set up as well. And they just park Tammy in front of the door, and the therapist is like, okay, well, Tammy, I'm going to need you to close the door, which, like, she's in front of the door, so you can't close it. And it just leads to this whole scene of Tammy losing it.
I can't get through there.
Okay, where you want to go with it?
Okay, you just walk out. I got it.
Well, it's not locked.
I go.
Tammy,
There's not much room in
can
here.
you close that door?
It's not gonna close with a wheelchair. And I can't sit in the couch. This wasn't well thought out.
I'm gonna have to close the door, okay?
What I'm telling you is I gotta catch my breath before I can stand back up.
And it's really frustrating that Tammy is just like losing it on a complete stranger she's never met before. I just genuinely don't understand like why she thinks that's an acceptable way to treat somebody, and also why she thinks that she doesn't need therapy, because it's clear that she just thinks that she's like above therapy and that she doesn't want to participate in it throughout this whole episode. We also saw that in season 2. Although in season 2, when she went to therapy, they made her do it with Amy. And I was just like, this is not productive. Like, they both need their own individual therapy first before they start working on their relationship, in my opinion. So I kind of understood why that didn't work out. And here's the one thing I'll say about this particular experience with therapy. I thought the therapist was great in a lot of ways, and we'll tell you more about that. But I do think that, like, one thing about going to therapy is that you have to have a connection with your therapist, and you have to feel like they are creating a safe space for you, right? The one thing that Tammy does say in her, like, ranting is, like, I can't believe y'all didn't think about this. Like, I can't believe you didn't think about the fact that I would need space in here, that I wouldn't be able to sit on this couch, and that I would have to be in my wheelchair. I definitely don't want to apologize for the way Tammy behaved, because I don't think it was appropriate. But what I will say is that I have to wonder if this therapist has ever had a wheelchair user in that space before, because there is no way that a person in a wheelchair, even if it wasn't one as big as Tammy's, would have space in the way that things were set up, right? So if you're going in there and you already don't feel like the space is accessible to you, which I think is how Tammy felt, like the space isn't accessible to what I need in order to just be physically in this space, then I could see why she'd be really frustrated and not welcomed. I will say that part. Now, I don't think that means it's okay for her to, like, lash out and be upset and angry, but I am saying I think the therapist dropped the ball by not thinking about the setup of the room and what Tammy would need in that situation. With that being said, I also don't know how much of that was in the therapist's control. You know what I'm saying? Like, definitely feels like something that could have been manufactured by the old producers at TLC. Outside of that little mishap with, like, how the room was set up, I would say that the therapist was actually pretty good at being an actual therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like she had a lot of patience. She was good at, like, asking clarifying questions and doing a lot of, like, active listening things. Like, you probably heard her do a lot of, like, I don't know what that means. Could you tell me what that means? And saying, oh, it sounds like you are feeling this way. Would you agree? Those are all things that are a part of, like, active listening and how people are really trying to clearly understand what a person is feeling, experiencing, whoever, whatever. And it's clear that working with Tammy at therapy is very frustrating because she gives a lot of, like, surface level answers, a lot of 2 to 3 word answers. Like, she refuses to really give anything up, which is so weird to me, kind of, but also not, because she's so willing to talk to the producers of this show and, like, all of the confessionals where it's just her sitting down talking to producers. She's so willing to be vulnerable and open up with them. She's so willing to tell them all kinds of things. And the only way I guess I can really understand why that might be is that I'm guessing that she's worked with these producers now for 3 seasons, that she has built up a rapport with them, and they're people that she feels comfortable talking to. And I think that's good, but I also wish she could see the disconnect that's going on here, where she can, like, talk to these people who are asking her things for the purposes of putting it on a show for the whole world to see, and she can't have this private conversation. Well, private, I mean, we're watching it through the TV screen, but she can't have this, like, private conversation with a therapist who's a trained professional to help her process her feelings and emotions. Like, the disconnect for me is kind of unreal, because I would feel more comfortable talking to a therapist than, like, Joe Schmo producer who is going to use my words for their television show. Although, put me on a reality TV show and I'll tell you whatever you want to hear, producers. With all that being said, I think because the therapist is somewhat skilled at the work that she does, she is able to get Tammy to open up a little bit about just like her confidence level and wanting to work on her confidence and things like that. So, you know, I think Tammy is there, and if she would continue to give it a chance, and I don't know, maybe this therapist isn't right for her. Maybe this woman was not the person. Like, sometimes therapy, you have to work and find somebody. I got really lucky when I moved to Chicago, and the first therapist I had, he was great. I got to see him for like 2 years, and then I got new insurance and he no longer accepted that. And so I had to find somebody new. And when I went to go find somebody new, it took me like 3 or 4 tries before I got to the therapist I now have. And I know not everybody has that kind of time, energy, patience, and so I get it, but like maybe Tammy just needs to try somebody else. Maybe there's somebody else out there that could be helpful to her. And at the end of it all, she does utilize that relationship with her producers to be like, I do feel hurt deep down, and it is true, but I'd rather just not talk about it. So again, an example of her like being able to open up to producers about stuff, but also like in general, it seems like she's just not willing to talk about things, period. So then we see Amy and Michael go to the plastic surgeon to get a little consultation moment situation type of deal for Amy's excess skin. Y'all, if you hear Poe moving around, he has just been so much today. I apologize for any background noise he's making. He can't just pick a spot. Pick a spot, Poe. Amy's so funny during this whole scene. She starts it off by comparing herself to Droopy Dog.
You know what a droopy dog is? Where they got all those skin folds and stuff.
No, a basset hound.
Yeah, I'm a bastard hound.
A what?
A bastard hound.
Which I knew she was talking about a basset hound, but I think she also might have been... Do y'all remember the cartoon of Droopy? Do you remember him? I remember him. She also, like, doesn't know what an inch is, allegedly. She thinks that that's like a foot, which, like, a foot is 12 inches, girl, but okay. What do you know about a foot? What do you know about 12 inches? Apparently maybe not a lot. And then they do this cool, like, virtual imaging thing, which, like, technology's amazing. I thought that was so cool, honestly, truly. Even if she doesn't end up having anything done, like, I was just like, that's really cool to see, like, what you could potentially look like using technology. And then the doctor comes in and examines every part of Amy.
He examined every part of me, my boobs, my necks, even my chub rub.
What is it called?
Chub rub. Your chubby fat ass belly is rubbing up against your chubby ass leg.
What are these people? Why are we talking about so much of this stuff today? So much. Like, wild. And at the end of it all, the doctor suggests that Amy should probably just wait until she's further along in her journey, closer to her goal, which, like, I kind of agree, because I was like, I see what she's talking about when, like, she says that there's excess skin, but it does feel like if she really keeps going down this journey that she's probably going to have more, so like it would make sense to just wait until she has all of it and make an assessment and judgment and decision. The next scene is the sisters taking Chris to the spa, and I feel like this was supposed to be like the cutesy funny scene, you know, like what they were filming for YouTube in this scene, and those always tend to be like the goofier, sillier parts of the episode. And I just like, I'm so frustrated by this like trope on TV shows of like men going to the spa. It's so funny seeing a man get a facial. And I'm just like, y'all straight men have got to get over this. Like, if y'all are really not trying to go to the spa and not trying to go have a relaxing experience, not trying to go get a facial, a mani, a pedi, a whoever, whatever, then y'all are missing out at the expense of like looking feminine or looking like a girl or whoever, whatever, because Going to the spa is a good time. Relaxing is a good time. Everybody deserves that. Men, women, non-binary, whoever, whatever, we all deserve that, okay? So, like, y'all should just let go of it. I don't think it's funny that, like, we're like, ha, a man's at the spa. Okay, I've seen it. I'm over it. I'm done. And honestly, of all people, Chris deserves a relaxing moment. I mean, they literally show him pushing Tammy up this ramp just to get to the spa. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, of all people, he deserves it. So I don't know why we're making such a big fuss about, oh, I can't believe I'm going to the spa. Go to the spa, relax your ass off, and have a good time. Now, the one thing I will say is, like, why are we doing this? Is that they wax Chris's belly, which makes absolutely no sense to me. They claim that it's because it's going to help the surgeons with a potential surgery. And I'm like, will it? Will it? Is that something? I feel like if they didn't need the hair there, then they probably have mechanisms for getting rid of the hair on their own. Like, I don't know. Like, they just did a strip across the stomach to, like, up here. Like, is this even where the surgeons are gonna cut in? I don't know. I don't know. Like, let the surgeons just do it. Like, it seems so unnecessary to get his belly waxed. This seemed real unnecessary to me, personally. So then we get a scene of Amy and Tammy working out together because Tammy admits that she hasn't done literally any of the things that Dr. Smith has asked her to do. And Amy says she's doing it to support Tammy, but also because she needs to work out as well. Because essentially she's like, you know what, the doctor, the plastic surgeon is right. I need to keep working, keep going, keep losing weight, and then we can talk about some skin surgery. And they're working out, and y'all, the word for today is coochie on this episode, I guess. I guess all we're talking about is coochie because this happens while Amy is working out.
I had my no-no zone. Oh, how am I gonna get pregnant again?
Oh,
I lost
God.
my cooter.
So there's that. She's worried about having children in the future, which I think she'll probably be okay. But yeah, that's them working out. And to be honest, it really looked like they were working up a sweat during this segment, let me be honest with you. But then they have a conversation about old Tammy and the BBW king.
So what's going on with the look?
We broke up.
Was it a mutual breakup? Well,
I guess you can say I did it.
So yeah, they broke up. They broke up, and Tammy says it's because they were fighting about her insecurities and how he couldn't support her anymore through her insecurities. And so Tammy claims that she's the one that ended it. And Amy says, well, this can be your motivation for defeating your inner demons. To me, it does seem like maybe she'll start being a little bit more productive. I do think that regardless of whatever she says, that he was not probably a great influence on her, so I hope she can go back to focusing on herself and what she needs in order to save her life. And of course, Tammy didn't break a sweat, but Amy sure did break her cooter, so here we are. Here we are. And then the episode ends on Chris and Tammy going to see Dr. Smith, following up with Dr. Smith. I mean, the long story short is Dr. Smith is pissed. That was a little excessive, Zach. He's angry with Tammy because she basically admits she's been overeating, that she hasn't been walking, hasn't done any of the things. And the last time she weighed in at his office, she was 639 pounds. And somehow, by some miracle, she is exactly the same weight, hasn't gained or lost. And so, I don't know, Dr. Smith is very kind of being like, listen, you didn't gain, at least, so that's an improvement, but you got the same goal for the next time. And honestly, I don't like to always compare doctors on these kind of shows to Dr. Now, but Dr. Now would have been over Tammy's bullshit a long time ago. Like, truly, honestly. And I appreciate, like, I think that, you know, that's a little bit, there's probably pros and cons to that kind of behavior. I mean, I think in some ways, like, Dr. Now is just giving up on some people. So I appreciate that Dr. Smith won't give up on Tammy. But it's also like, at this point, does Tammy even want to do it? Like, is she even trying. I don't know. And like they talk about how Dr. Smith cares more about Tammy's health than Tammy cares about Tammy's health. And I think that's true for everybody in Tammy's life. Like, all of her family cares more about it than she does. Like, everybody's more invested in it than Tammy is, quite honestly, truly. And then we see Chris go in to meet with Dr. Smith and get weighed and see if he lost. I think he has to lose, like, he has to go under 400 pounds, I think, in order to qualify for the weight loss surgery. They have to weigh him so that he can find out if the next day he gets to literally go and have surgery. So they leave us on that cliffhanger. We don't know if he's going to get the surgery or not. I feel like we are going to see him get surgery. The previews kind of made it sound like he might not get surgery, but I feel like the season trailer that they gave to us before the season aired or started airing included Chris getting surgery. And it could have been a surgery for something else, who knows, but I think he's got, that's my gut. My gut's telling me he's gonna get it. And that was basically it for this week. I really enjoyed the episode as a whole. I thought it had drama. I thought it had funny things. It had me feeling positively about Mama Slayton. So, you know, it had everything. It really did. And next week looks like it's gonna also have everything. We get to see Amy potentially moving or talking about moving again, which I know a lot of y'all brought up back when she was having the hoarding issues. And then we also see Tammy talking about maybe the BBW King harassing her or something, which is also interesting because he's definitely, right before the season started airing, was doing a little clout chasing and bringing Tammy back up in TikToks and stuff. And it left a bad taste in my mouth, and I think really says a lot about him as a human when they've been broken up. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's all I have for this week. I will potentially be a little late in next week's recap. I'm visiting family from like the day of Christmas until the 27th, so I normally like record and everything these on the Monday and then post it on the Tuesday, but I'll be traveling back from my mother's house that day, so I might be a little later than normal, so just try to have some patience with me next week. I don't know, if I can, I'll try to get it out on Tuesday still, but you know, we'll just have to see. But thank you all for joining me. If this is your first video on my channel, make sure to subscribe. I also have a playlist of all of the Slayton Sister content I've ever made on my channel. Leave me a comment, hit like, click share, check out my merch, see if you want to get any last minute holiday gifts, and follow me on all of my social media. I had so much fun today. I hope you did too, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!